Yeah, so let's make a start. Good morning, my name's Austin. I'm one of the product specialists at MyRegData, and today we're just going to have a quick look at the system and see how it can help you produce the reg data reporting much more quickly and efficiently. Hopefully everyone can see the slide okay. At the end of the thing, we'll have a quick Q&A session as well, so please feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A box of the webinar or at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the key features and benefits in the software, and once it's set up, it should take no more than 30 minutes to produce the submissions, which are required every 6 months to the FCA. Cost for MyRegData starts from $695. That's inclusive of VAT for the year, and that includes support. And as well, we're giving hours training on there to how to set the system up. And again, it includes 2 reviews each year as well to help with the actual submissions to the FCA. If you're a member of Simplifies, then the rates are much lower, and we also have some arrangements with other compliance agencies as well. So basically, RegData allows you to spend a lot more time with your clients, allowing you to earn a lot more money. End of the course, then by the end of this session, you should be able to identify which information you need to produce the RegData return. We'll run through how to enter that into the MyRegData software, and we'll also show a quick video of how to produce the RegData return and submit that over as well with the software. So RegData, it was developed with the assistance of Simplifies. We've worked together to identify the need for a system that allows us to submit the FCA thing. At heart, MyRegData is a bookkeeping system. We've developed it over several years now, so we've actually got the RegData reporting in there. It's specifically delivered for IFAs, mortgage advisors. It's a true cloud-based system, so you can access it anywhere you need to, as long as you've got a web data connection on there. We use the same encryption levels and security that your bank does, so it's very safe, it's very secure. All the data is held on UK servers, and it's basically very important to us that all that data is kept very safe and secure for you. There's no need to do backups or anything like that. That's all automatically handled within the system. So basically, with a little bit of time and effort, your next RegData report should take no more, as we say, than half an hour to actually complete and finish. So MyRegData completes all sections of the RMAR report from A through to K. We're always updating it based on user feedback and any changes required by the FCA. Some of the extra bits in here to allow for the RMAR reporting is we have a staff and complaints register in there, very simple and easy to use and populate. Record all the income and expenditure into the business, and as well we've options in there to import transactions as well. So one that people tend to use, that's importing the bank statement. Works really well for the expenses side of it, because they're usually done to a single heading. With regards to recording the income in the system, as that tends to be sort of split over multiple headings from the providers, we tend to have a system on there which is used for recurring pro forma transactions and templates, which are very simple way there. We set the headings up, imported, and how quick they do, and then we just update those with the values each month. It's a very straightforward process, and we'll touch on that in a short while when we have a look in the software itself. Again, we also have a full range of bookkeeping tools in there. So again, we can do invoicing, quotes, reporting, your bank reconciliations, and it's multi-user as standard. So you can have send one a login for your accountant as well. So we don't charge any extra for additional users. What I'd like to do now is we'll just do a quick dip into the software. So just one moment. Okay, so start off at the home screen, which was our dashboard when we come in. The bits on there which differentiate it more, if we go into settings, we have the option to enter complaints. So again, very straightforward system on here. Add a complaint, we can choose the date, which client it related to. If it's a personal client as well, we can add those details in there, click the add button and record the necessary details for those. Was there an address repel? Was a complaint upheld? What dates and things on those lines? That then helps when we come to do the RMA report for the complaints. We can then help you based on this, just tap those into the report themselves. That is a manual process. We do log them in here because the complaints we handle are very few and far between. It allows quicker entry, so we just help you put that through as part of the 6 or 12 monthly review. Now, the general settings on here, so we can choose whether you have investment permissions, whether you're an independent or restricted advice you give. Do you have any appointed representatives? Are you part of a group, etc.? Again, depending on these answers, it triggers different sections and parts of the RMAR reporting to be completed. If you've recently become directly authorised within the last year, we can put the date in there for it, and then that will pro rata and calculate the fees correctly for the first year on there. Next, we have the staff and advisor registers. So again, sorry, we'll close that. Quite straightforward on this. We can add members of staff, and that then allows us to create the correct staffing registers, which is picked up again for the number of advisors, whether they have supervisor permissions. We can also include the admin staff on there, and for investments, keep a track of the SPS dates and things along those lines. Again, those are rolled up and are submitted as part of the RMAR reporting. Again, once you've created ones on there, they're quite easy to edit. So if this one now soon becomes supervisor, we can update their details for them, and if they're qualified. But again, we can handle both admin and fee earners on there. The final section is the My Charges one. This only really applies on the 12-month reviews, and it's for terms of investment permissions only. But again, these are submitted in the RMAR sections as well, like the 12-month review in section K, I believe. So again, we can set the rates and things on those lines, and then they're automatically put into the report. What we tend to do then is, as people go, we will have the bank accounts, so we can log in here all the bank accounts and credit cards that the company or trading uses. And as part of that, then we have the option to show the current bank accounts as it is. We can drill into transactions to see the actual breakdown of those, so that'll compile all the transactions. Mostly they're entered through the income and expenses sections, but again, this gives us the option to sort of show us a full list on there. We can reconcile that to the bank. So as part of the review, one of the questions we do to the end of the previous period that the reporting period's for, we'll ask you to confirm that the bank's balanced the statement. If they do, then we're sure that all the transactions are in there and we know we've recorded everything. To enter transactions, mainly we use the income and expenses ones. So for income on here, we can come in and literally we go to record a new income. This will come in, so we can choose our customer from the drop-down list, the date on it, if there's any particular reference that we want to add on there. The customer's reference, that might be their invoice number. And again, which bank account it's getting pushed to. And then it gives us the headings. So the headings on here, we've got around 18 to 20. These have been developed over time with simplifies, so we're able to record the correct sort of fee splits and types of remuneration that are passed over to the FCA to build up the reporting. You can, with the plus sign at the side, if you need to, create your own ones, but these pretty much cover all the required information on here. So we've got things like investment lump sums, one-off fees, ongoing fees, clawbacks, etc. along those lines. There is also ones for other revenue, which are non-FCA related. So if we've got it's that bank interest coming in there, so it's money in, but it's not actually regulated, so you don't pay any fees on it. We've got a capture all heading for the remainder. Literally pop it in there, add in the values, and again, we can add multi-lines on there. So for Aviva, we may end up with 3 or 4 different splits on it. So we could end up with some one-off fees, underline, and then some initial fees or investment one-off fees, etc. So again, we can build up multi-lines on here. The difference between adding just a normal income, or as we say, we can use recurring incomes, which allows us to sort of speed and push through more efficiently to enter the data, is if we tick the repeat one, then when we save this, it'll save it as a template. We can then set that to recur every month on the 1st of the month, and then when your next fee statement comes in from Aviva, you recall that the recurred transaction, repeat transaction, just update the values. If there is any additional ones in that period, we can add those on, take them out, and keep that up to date. Quite straightforward. So it allows the data entry side of it to be a lot smoother and quicker than we would expect. Normally just manually entering it line by line. The recurring ones are access for more, and then we've got manage repeats. So if there's any setup in there, then we can create them, edit them, adjust them, etc. To record expenses, again, it's a very similar process than the recording of income. We're recording expense on there. We can create all your different suppliers that you need, and again, just to tick the plus box if you need to create any new ones. With the supplier headings, the expense headings, we have a lot more flexibility on these. The FCA doesn't really require these to be split in any depth. So for the income ones, they require the correct split between fees and types. On the expenses, these are more up to you. FCA only requires the dividends or DLA amounts, that type of thing, and then the rest is just one expense figure to create the reporting. So you can agree with your bookkeeper any additional headings and things that you need in there. And again, we select that, put the amounts in, hit save, and that will then create the expense for it. Once you've entered all your transactions in there, we get to the accounting tab, which at this point then allows us to sort of see the data slightly differently. When we go to income and expenses, we will just see a list of all the individual expense transactions. Whereas in the accounting one, which is more what your bookkeeper will use, we can then view for the current financial year, the ETB, which is the extended trial balance. Depending on the size of data, this can take a few seconds to create. What the ETB will show is all those income and expenditure items then grouped by the heading types. So we can go into this one, click on lump sum, and then we're able to see all the individual lump sum payments that have gone to investment lump sum. From within this screen, if someone has entered the wrong heading type or something on those lines, we have the option where we can move one or two of them to a different heading, or if we wanted to, we can select all of them and move those to a completely new heading. As part of the software, we include 2 reviews of the data every 6 months, and as part of that, this is one of the areas that we look in. So for part of the review, we would check the bank statements manage, run through the settings just to make sure they're all up to date and all the SPS dates, etc., are relevant and valid for within the period. All the date changes to staffing register have been updated. And again, we'll then do a review of the headings usage as well, just to see if we can spot any obvious anomalies within that. It's not a compliance or an audit review, it's more of a sense check just to make sure, yep, that looks like it's in the correct headings and that type of thing. Ultimately, if you have any questions or you're not too sure any of those, we can help where we can, or you may need to speak to your compliance advisors. Once we've gone through all the accounting entries on there and double check those, next then we'll drill into the actual reports. So that there's 2 main reports that we do for the FCA. We have the FIN 073 report, which is the financial resilience one. That's the one that was brought in from COVID, and it's a quarterly report. So again, for that, we can just click to the quarter we've just finished, or we can view the existing ones. So it will pull data from within the system, so it'll pull up the amount in the banks. A figure we don't hold is the average monthly cash needs. So again, that was one that was brought in for COVID. We tend to look at what was on the previous report and reuse that, or if you've had any marginal changes, you can calculate and add that figure in there, but that is a typable report for it. Again, it then pull through net profits, revenue for the year to date, and again, it'll set the next tax sort of balance sheet figure as well. This also will include any assessments for corporation tax within there as well. Are added in and removed from those as well. You've got little help fields on here as well. We produce the figures on there, but we don't have a connection to submit that, so then you just need to log on to the FCA site and just enter those 5 boxes into your FIN 073 report as and when that's due. There's a couple of little headers on here that, so when we do the first one, we need to make sure the previous year end's been run, so it's got the correct opening balances. And again, if we're running the last one, we need to do that before the final year end is closed. When we do the reviews at 6 and 12 months, we'll also help you with the FIN 073 report if it's due at that point. The main report then is the actual RegData run. So again, this runs from sections A through to K of the RMAR. For that, what we will do is set this up, and we run this as part of the review. So as part of the review, as I say, we'll check the settings, check the bank statements, match, have a look at the accounting heading usage, make sure that looks okay. And then at that point, then we can generate the report. So again, this is more of a Q&A session. We'll run through each of the sections on here through a wizard. That gives us all the options for answers. But normally, if I go back through, that's the wizard. So we'll come through, we'll confirm your trading status, whether you're a limited company, sole trader, partnership. Again, these all determine which parts of the reporting is triggered and filled in. Again, do you have mortgage permissions? Is it a 6 or a 12-month report? We'll also confirm whether you're an independent or restricted type of advice that you give. We'll confirm whether you hold clients' money or assets at all. And then also the PI cover. So if that's renewed in the period, then we'll capture the dates for that. So again, we'll run through and we'll request this information prior to the review. So we've got it handy for you. So we can go through, but again, we'll put through if there's any retroactive start dates, what type of advice you're covered for, who it's with, the value of the policy before insurance premium tax, start and end dates, indemnity limits, and then we'll confirm if you have any applicable policy exclusions and what the largest excesses are for the policy. Again, depending on whether you have exclusions or policy, then they may trigger some additional capital requirement adequacies from the FCA. If it does, then we can add that onto the report further down the line, and we'll show you how that's done. We'll then confirm if there's been any changes to the company's shareholder structure in the previous period, last 6 months. If so, then we can record whether they have been updated to the FCA or not. We then check that the staff register has been up-to-dated from the previous settings. We confirm the type of advice that you've been given, what type of advice you give, whether it's restricted, fair analysis, limited or unlimited, and if you've suffered any clawbacks or for investment and pension business. Again, that only applies to people with investment permissions. Just confirm that you're regulated and if you have any appointed representatives. The next thing then is the annualised client premiums of non-investment insurance put on risk in the previous 6 months. So we'll get those figures for you and pop those in, and that then propagates onto the RMAR reporting as well. Again, that's something we request prior to the review, so you've got there. If it's a 12-month review and you have investment permissions, then we confirm the advisor charging at this point. Again, that's picked up from the settings that we looked at earlier. Finally, as part of the review, we'll confirm if you've sold any of these products in the period. Once that's done, the report will calculate. Again, this can take a moment or two while it just chugs through. Once the report has calculated, there's then 2 or 3 little sections on there that we'll check. So the first one was we'll look at the corporation tax assessment on there just to see if that looks applicable and whether that needs to be changed if there's any marginal rates on there as well. We confirm the capital adequacy and we'll update the client count as well. So as I say, section A comes through and that's populated from all the data from within the system. Basically shows the balance sheet section. Section B, again, if there's a taxation on there, this one's actually showing 92,000 for the period. So again, that would probably be a marginal rate. So if that was in the case, we could use the HMRC's marginal rate calculator to work out what the percentage is, because it's over 50,000, but less than 250, it'll be somewhere between 19 and 25%. So we can adjust that, save that, and that will recalculate the corporation tax assessment. Section D1 then, we'll come check if there's any specific capital adequacy. If there was any additional requirements for your PI cover, so if you had any large excesses or exclusions and they require those values, we can attach them to the various boxes E6 and E7 here. Once they're done, they would actually get picked up and added into the additional cap requirements figures on here, so it would increase that. Again, as part of the review, we check the capital adequacy against the balance figure just to make sure that there's a surplus or a deficit, and then that can be addressed if there's a shortfall on there. The other one then is section K. So if you're a 12-month report and it have investment permissions, at this point we can put in the number of retail clients that's still within the period and the adders and losers again. So that helps the section K reporting on there. Once that's done and we're happy, we'll take a print of that. Some advisors prefer to do the actual submission themselves, so we'll take that report, send it over to them, and then they're good to log on to the FCA MyRegData and portal and input the figures themselves. The vast majority of our customers take advantage, and we'll actually help them and do the submission side at this point if they're happy with the figures. If you are a member of simplifies, then you can request a submission for that, and it will take a copy of the MyRegData report, and we can email that over to them for your compliance advisors to check for you before you actually do the submission. What I'll do now is just show you a quick. So once we've done that, we'll come back and we'll say, right, the report's been locked and so committed, and it's draft, and then we can submit to the FCA. For that, I've just got a quick video just to show you that process. It only takes a couple of minutes. That seems to. Apologies, I'm not sure that's not playing. Let me try it. Just let me reopen that. It seems to play. Process that we follow is just this first. Using shows that the first two steps of shape. Again, and the files have been accepted. Preempting the in order to make sure that the data schedules that we expect. Schedules. Sufficient. See that
in the schedule is now clear to next April, which means that the system submissions submitted take a PDF copy to send in to the user for 12 monthly schedules, and 6 monthly schedules they'll also be submitted that completes the submission for the user. Files being downloaded is to send copies of the report and the submission to the user, and that's no reporting.
Great. So that basically shows the submission side of it, so it's straightforward. Again, we've then sort of through the screen. So getting started with the system, very straightforward and quick to use. There is an hour's training involved and included within the actual onboarding. With that, then we'll create the opening balances, which is from the balance sheet at the beginning of the year, from the bank statements, any bank accounts and credit card accounts that you need to put on there, we'll add those in there. Create your customers and suppliers that are needed. Again, it's very, very straightforward, all driven by quick, straight wizards. And again, we'll cover that within the hour's sort of setup training for you. An hour usually more than covers any training that's needed. But there is options to buy additional training further on if you need to. We also have a support team on there as well, which is very grateful and knowledgeable. So you have limited telephone and email support. We have a support desk on there as well. So any questions or queries, again, if it's anything that's related to the software, we can handle. If it's more compliance issues, then we may need to refer you back to your compliance advisors. So you get the hours of one-to-one training when you first start up, and as well as included as a complimentary 6 monthly reviews. So again, that's what we said beforehand. We'll run through the settings, check the headings, and then help you with the actual submission if you so require. Prices for the software at the moment, a standard one is $695. That's inclusive of VAT. If you want to, you can pay that monthly. If you do pay it monthly, it's then $69.50 for 12 months. So it does work out slightly dearer over the year. Again, with SimplyBiz members, there is a discount of $395 or $39.50 a month. And we do have other arrangements with different compliance networks as well. So please get in touch with us for working out the prices on there. Again, the subscriptions include a complimentary review every 6 months to help with the progression of there, and everything is inclusive of VAT. So once you're set up on there, it allows you to complete your report in around 30 minutes for the review. It's very straightforward. Usually it's quicker than that, usually around 20 minutes for the review appointments. Or if something's a bit more complex, then that might overrun slightly. So again, the time saving there is a great benefit to everybody. Again, mentioned we're multi-use with standard, so your accountant can have access, so allow them to come in and double check your bookings, prepare the year-end adjustments and that type of thing. So it keeps their time down having to print reports and send over boxes and things on those lines. The reports get submitted directly to the FCA. Again, we're not having to manually go in and fill in pages and pages of data on there. It's all held within the system, calculated and pushed through. And again, we have support on there, and as well, you also have the compliance options as well. So if you want SimplyBiz or another compliance advisor to review the reporting before it's actually submitted, you can do that within there. And again, we have lots of processes for symptoms, the recurring transactions, importing the bank statements to make it a lot more efficient, and again, cut down the time needed for this. So hopefully now you should be able to know what information is required into the MyRegData software to enable you to enter that and create how to submit it over to the FCA for the RegData report. And again, we have full support and suppliers on there. That's the basic overview of there done. If you require any further information, please go onto our website, which is myregdata.co.uk. And again, it's from liquidaccounts.com, products MyRegData as well, access to the same place. On there, you can join up for a trial version, which is completely free of charge. And you can go on there and have a play with the product as well to see if it's likely or alternative. You can get in touch with us from the website and we can answer any questions you have further. Brilliant. A little ahead of time, so I'll probably just leave the session open for a few minutes. If anybody wants to ask any questions, there's a Q&A or a chat box in the webinar if you'd like to pop it in there. But if not, thank you very much for your time.